Hey everyone. Okay, I think it's live. I don't know. I'm using Facebook to do live video. Imagine that. Probably not the best audio because my microphone is already unplugged from my computer, sitting back there before we moved to Maryland. So I'm just using the AirPods. Sorry about that. But I've had a video, some content that I wanted to share with you for a week now, and I'm finally sitting here and I thought, hey, let's just turn on the camera and talk because what's been on my mind is about capacity and it's definitely something that I'm running into, like limits on my capacity. Obviously, like when I wanted to do something last week, I wasn't able to get to it because certain other things have been prioritized in that time. But the reason capacity has been on my mind lately is because of work that I do with clients and then even noticing it for myself. And what I mean by capacity is like margin or bandwidth inside of us to be able to do the things that we're called to do, to be able to live the way God designed us to live, to have the energy and resources that keep us in a place of feeling calm and not run down. So, for example, I put in the list asking you kind of to identify. If you could put that in the comments down below, identifying where you would define yourself. Let's see, how did I put that in there? If you are depleted, dry, or drowning, like all the energy's gone, you got no capacity to make decisions, to connect with people, um, to do anything really well, like you're just kind of like done over it, really dried out. Or are you running on spurts of energy? Every now and then you feel like, okay, I got a little bit of energy, and then boom, everything kind of dies down. Okay, I got a little bit more, and then everything dies down. Are you running on the ebbs and flows? Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, sometimes it's up, and feeling a little unsteady because it's so much up and down and doesn't feel like there's enough that keeps you going in between. And the other option would be, or do you kind of identify that you're overflowing? Or is there constant renewal of resources that help you keep going? And going back to that concept of capacity, I'm talking about it in reference to like the mental capacity, our emotional capacity, and our relational capacity. So, how much energy do we have to be able to make decisions, to face difficult challenges, to think through things? That's kind of on the mental side. And then on the emotional side, are we finding ourselves so dried out that we're feeling numb in the world, or highly reactive? Our nervous systems are escalated, and we're jumpy. We're quick to get angry, quick to fight back on something, quick to do something as a response to whatever somebody else has said or done or isn't doing. Um, that might be kind of a way that shows that we don't really have any capacity left because our nervous systems are jumping to things or completely numb. It can kind of be on either end of the spectrum there. Um, or sometimes we're getting some of the things that we need to increase capacity, but because the patterns in our life are set up the way they are, we are quickly running out of the energy that we need to do those things with the mental, the emotional, and then I forgot to mention the relational aspect. Are we staying connected with other people, asking them how they're doing, and then going deeper? Getting involved in one another's lives to the extent that it's safe to do so and good to do so with other people. And when I say that, I mean not just quick answers with someone, but somebody who's starting to really get to know you and to be able to ask you, how are you feeling and how are you doing about different situations? If we don't have any of that in our life and we don't feel like we have the capacity for it, it's a sign that we don't have the energy or that capacity within us for relationships and that we need to do something different. So now that I've talked a little bit about the different types of being low on the capacity end of things, I want to talk about ways that we can refill it. And so I kind of look at it like this visual. Think of like the cup. We all know those images and the imagery of a cup that gets filled up and it comes to overflowing, or it can be really dry and empty. Maybe you've seen the visual of a pitcher. So you're pouring out to other people. If you're constantly pouring out and there's nothing pouring in, there's nothing left. And I think of that imagery of like being completely dry and empty. There is nothing. It is bone dry inside. has been wiped clean, there's nothing there. Or that little bit of capacity where sometimes a little bit comes in, but as soon as it comes in, it goes right back out. It's hard to tolerate the fact that there's anything in there because maybe we don't feel okay having that for ourselves. Something good, something that's filling us up. Um, but what I see as kind of a more healthy analogy is when that pitcher is pouring out and there's still something constantly pouring into the pitcher. And there's a lot of different things that help us, are can be made up. I'm saying it wrong. There are a lot of things that can make up what gets poured into the pitcher. So in my mind, when I've seen something like this before in a visual, usually is limited to one source of uh, input, one resource, which is God and His Word. And we all need God and His Word. Absolutely. It's powerful. It makes sense, right? But by only seeing that in the picture, sometimes we can miss the ways that God and God's truths work to give us energy. For example, through time with other people, through rest, through doing enjoyable activities, exercise, healthy eating, all some of the things that we know that we need. And it's a more comprehensive picture. God offers these things to us, His beauty in creation, His increase in our hearts and minds when we pause to just reflect, to notice what's happening within us and around us, and to see His beauty in creation. Like, that's a gift. That is something that could bring a little bit more energy into our lives. And then another thing that brings energy is learning new skills and applying them in our lives. So that could be in communication skills, relationship skills, how to set limits for ourselves, and starting to adjust some things that help us protect what's in that pitcher and not just let it fall at the bottom or leak out into every other direction, but to have enough of a reservoir for all that stuff to be poured into. I hope that visual makes sense because I think I'm probably saying too many things in one video, but I really wanted to hear from you guys on where you think you are with capacity right now. If you're feeling depleted, dry, or just drowning in everything that's going on, do you feel like you get spurts of energy and then immediately goes out? Do you feel like you're kind of riding the flow, these ebbs and ups and downs, and it just feels a little unsteady? So it feels good sometimes, but then it feels down, and you'd really like to feel a little more consistent across the board, knowing there's always ups and downs, but not kind of riding these peaks and deep valleys in how it impacts your life and how it impacts your emotional well-being during the day. Or are you curating kind of this increase in resources for yourself to increase the capacity that you need to be able to handle life's daily challenges, just regular things that happen in life and relationships with other people, let alone any upheavals that we experience. So mostly I'm curious about where you're at, and then kind of thinking about some of these broad general ideas of ways to increase capacity. There's really a lot more to this, and I will go into more in-depth content and ideas in the upcoming membership groups launching next week. Hint, hint. Where we talk about specific ways that, like maybe learning some of these skills that I talked about, or how to increase our energy through relationships. That's some of the things that we'll talk about, and setting limits and using our voice and practicing different ways of being that help us really experience that freedom and this place where what's being poured into sticks. It stays. It doesn't just leak out and go everywhere. So again, share where you're at in your capacity, and then the broad overview of the ways to increase capacity is increasing fun and activities that you enjoy, hobbies, engaging with friends or groups of people. Our personalities are different, so maybe it's a one-to-one relationship, maybe it's groups of people that energize us in different ways. Rest. What is rest looking like in your life, and how could you incorporate rest? Reflection, even pausing just to reflect. What's happening inside me right now? Am I struggling with something? Am I grateful about something? Is there something to be grateful about? Um, am I noticing just kind of what's happening in my present moment, or am I constantly worried about what's ahead, what's ahead, what's ahead? And reflecting on that, this allows us to slow down a little bit, notice, and then we have some information that can help us make different choices in the future. So those are just some broad ideas of increasing capacity and some general ways that decreased capacity might show up in our lives. And I'd love to hear from you. So I'm going to give you an example by checking in with myself right now. I am probably, I feel like I'm mostly increasing in capacity, but there's definitely some dips kind of happening mostly because of just life stress and making a lot of decisions that runs my brain down. Um, but I've had some really good connections with people recently that's kept me really fueled up. I'm still incorporating things like my puzzle time to have some fun and enjoyment and rest, incorporating some time with family. And so right now it feels pretty good. In the past, I've definitely done a lot of the ebbs and flows, the spurts of energy, and felt super depleted. So that doesn't mean that it couldn't happen again, but that we're mindful of some of these ways to increase our capacity for facing life and life's challenges. I hope that's helpful. That was kind of my first dry run of just going through a concept that's been bubbling up inside of me for a little bit, and love to hear if any of that's helpful for you, if it resonates. And if not, if you have any questions, let me know that too. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.